You got to stop focusing so much on your destination and lock in on your trajectory. And that's so important because if you stay too locked in on the destination, you'll never be able to be appreciative and grateful and joyous about who you are right now. And the reason why I say who you are instead of what you have is because at any point in your life, the most important part of you is who you becoming, how you show up every day, what's your habits that are creating the person that you'll be tomorrow. And that's what I mean when I talk about focusing on your trajectory, because your trajectory is your general direction in life, where you headed. And when you look at life through the lens of your trajectory versus your just destination, it allows you more flexibility to accept the highs and the lows that come naturally with life. And this is a constant battle for men because not only are we hard on ourselves about how we show up in the world and what our value is, but we also pressured by the outside world to exist in a certain way. We're given these unfair criteria and metrics that sometimes run us crazy because we want to meet them so bad, not realizing that life don't gotta look one way. And a lot of the things that are forced upon men as far as displays of value are unrealistic. And that's why a lot of what I teach about is men being sovereign and creating their own territories, their own boundaries. So they operate in a way that's true to them, so that they ain't following what this crashing society is telling them to do. This society that wants them to be mentally weak and physically strong so they can be used as tools. And going back to trajectory, the other thing about trajectory is creation is finished. And the reason why I bring that saying up is that when the Most High, when God created this earth, when he created me and you, when he created all the animals, he did it with everything considered. He already equipped us with everything we need to live our highest levels of life. And in my community, my offline community, not offline, but off of social media community, the Apex Academy, it's on school.com, completely free. I want y'all to join after this video, actually. But inside of my academy, I teach from the perspective of animals, specifically apex predators mixed in with a few other animals that represent important attributes within us as humans. And one specifically I want to point out for this video is the poison dart frog. So the poison dart frog is a species of frog, I believe in the Amazon, that is super small. Some species of this frog are smaller than your thumb, like this digit, not even the whole thing, just that part. And the thing about this frog, you would think it would be an easy snack for anything in the forest. But like I said, it's a poison dart frog. And the thing about this poison that comes from the poison dart frog, even though it's small, that poison that it secretes from its skin, if it gets in your bloodstream, it freezes your nerves and causes heart failure. And the other thing about this frog is that they come in bright colors like blue, yellow, red. And in nature, bright colors are warning signs for danger. So when it applies to this frog, all it's saying is that I'm small, but if you try to bite me, if you try to eat me, you're not making it out of here alive. So it's a trade-off. You gotta ask yourself, do you want that or do you not? And all the smart animals take heed to that warning and they stay away, because that easy snack ain't worth it if it's your last one. Going further, you could be a cheetah. You could have claws that act like track spikes. You could have an aerodynamic body, nasal passages that act like the intake of a sports car. You could be optimally designed to chase down your prey at 60 to 70 miles per hour. You could be a dolphin, a mammal, an animal that breathes air but lives in the water. You could have echolocation that allows you to locate your prey without being able to visibly see them. You could even be a human like me and you and have a mind to where you can think about certain things and immediately start to bring them out into reality. The same mind that separates you from all the animals. And I say all that to say, this is what you got to consider when you think about your trajectory. That creation is finished, so you're already equipped with everything you need to get to that destination that you're looking for. So you can take the pressure off yourself now just by dwelling on that part alone. And the other part that frees you when it comes to your trajectory, that allows you to become your most authentic self. Creation is already finished, so you don't have to worry about adding all these different things to yourself. You just gotta walk the walk into becoming the person that lives in that reality that you want as a man. And then you amplify the fact that you know creation is finished. And then you amplify your understanding that creation is finished and that you already have everything you need to build your trajectory by now focusing on who you're becoming. And I started out saying, you take your vision away from the destination. You take your focus off of that and look at the progress that you're making along the way. You aim towards a destination, but your focus is on how you improving every day. How are you getting closer to that destination? What's the steps that you're taking and accomplishing, but never being locked into a state of lack where you need the destination to fulfill you. And what focusing on that trajectory does for you along that journey, it now allows you to find fulfillment in the little progress that you're making. And the thing about the little progress is that you got to think of it like forks in the road. Because for me, for instance, how I became a content creator, I was working at Bar Louie as a server. I was coming off being a college football player, so I'm trying to figure it out at this time in my life. And I almost made it to the NFL. I went to rookie minicamp with the LA Rams, but I didn't make the team. So immediately after, I had to come back and figure it out. And that was the first job that I had as a server at Bar Louie. And I remember specifically at that time, I would let myself get into these sad, depressive states at different points because I would be so focused on my previous goal of getting to the NFL, but I'm locked into this reality. I'm a server. I'm nowhere near the NFL. I'm nowhere near the football field or being signed by anybody. And I remember it changed the day one of my homies from high school came in, and I hadn't seen him in a while, a couple of years, because I had been off playing ball, moving around, trying to go to these camps and do different stuff. But anyways, we got to chopping it up. And at the time, I had already been making content, but it was just workout content to get coaches to look at me and get an eye on me and whatnot. And I remember, and the first thing he said, he was like, "Man, I love your content. I love what you're putting out. I'll be trying your workouts all the time." And I was like, "Oh, bro, appreciate it. I'm just trying to stay on the radar, you know what I'm saying?" So his next thing was, "You ever thought about being a personal trainer?" And when he said that, it kind of struck me like lightning because I had never thought about that. I never thought about myself being an authority figure like that, where people would pay me for my knowledge, for me to help them get to a goal that was second nature to me, being an athlete, especially being a D1 college athlete, the workouts that we went through. And that was a light bulb moment for me because not only because in that moment, it turned into something that started my journey on entrepreneurship, but it also put money in my pocket. But then on top of that, it gave me a new view on life. It gave me a new view on myself. And I couldn't verbalize it at the time, but what it was the start of my sovereign life. And from that, it allowed me to unlock myself from that destination, even though I still was down to play. Because if you don't know, your first time watching me, I've been playing pro football in Mexico for probably the last 7 years or so. So the football bug has still been in my heart, but along that journey, it's never locked me down. It's never been a weight on me like it was at one point. And when my boy gave me the advice to become a personal trainer, that was the unlock for me. That was the key, because it allowed me to do the things that I still needed to do to get to the destination, to still go towards it. But I wasn't looking for that exact result. So I'm still working towards that way, but I'm picking up benefits along the way. One fork lead me this way, one fork lead me that way. And it was just that till I ended up where I am now. And going into the specifics of that journey, for instance, it started out with the workout videos. Then it progressed to telling people exactly how to do the techniques, showing them why this worked, this part of the body, what's the benefit they could expect, what nutrition went with it to see the best results. Then that took me into figuring out how do different foods affect the bodies. And then I learned about the food industry and how they trying to poison us. And that took me down another rabbit hole of talking about deeper concepts. That took me down a rabbit hole to the mind, to psychology. And then that's how I get to where I am now, talking about masculinity and different metaphysical content. But I share all those details to make it plain for you how one small decision to focus on your trajectory instead of your destination can free you as a man, how it's the base building blocks of your sovereign life, your ultimate freedom. Because you're not bound to your own expectations, you're not bound to nobody else's expectations. You're not bound to the expectations of the world. You're free to become who you need to be. You're free to develop, to increase your capabilities, and take pride in it. Take pride in your progression. That's something you need to remember from this video. Take pride in your progression. Because that way, every day don't gotta be a leap. It can be half a step. But as long as you went forward, you have something to be proud of. And then once you know it, they accumulate and you eventually become the person that you want to be. And then once you get to that person, now you want to go to the next level because, like I said, your capabilities have increased. So you, dang, what can I do next? Who can I become next? What level can I reach? What frequency can I tap into? And that's the power of trajectory that elite men follow that the average man don't, because the average man is unfulfilled and he thinks getting to a certain place or having a certain thing is gonna fill in them holes. But the elite man knows that he has to become the person that's deserving of the things, that the things are just a byproduct of who he is. So they naturally fall in his lap. They just exist on his level. Because going back to the beginning, creation is finished. So everything you want is already here. So if you just get to that level by the person that you are, the man that you become, they naturally find you. They are attracted to you. And that's the importance of your trajectory. And I'm gonna leave it right there, fellas. Let y'all marinate on that. But I wanna hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you see this video, you found it valuable, I want you to like to help me get across the algorithm, and also subscribe so you don't miss the next videos that I upload, because I'm coming with this game on the regular. I'm really working hard to help men tap into their sovereign life where they control their own territories, where they live life from the top of the food chain. And if you want to get the hyper-focused version of my philosophy, go to school.com/Apex Academy and join. It's completely free. You'll get a lot of value just from that. And that's the pathway to my coaching program that's also available, the Apex Ascent. If you need hands-on help with changing your situation, with taking control of your life, that's the place to do it. And I'm gonna put the link for Apex Academy as well as the application for the coaching program down in the description. If you having any doubts about getting with me, I promise you this will be a great move to set your trajectory. So y'all tap in with me, fellas. Peace.